Okay, round number three. I am Riz, and I'm going to be doing a number of roleplay review videos for a number of logs that we've had on the channel for a while. And the reason that I'm doing so many of them at the same time is because a lot of them are kind of short and sweet and to the point. And one by themselves didn't really warrant, a big video review, but I feel like there was more packed in them that can be unraveled, then I really wanted to sit down and give words to, typing it all out. I didn't want to do a novel in responses, so I'm just going to word vomit them right now. My name is Riz, you're you, and yeah, let's get right into this. So the first log that we're going to review here is Back to Basics, and this has Len, Cyver Prime, and Mareth Prime. And I say Prime because the Cyver that we have known, the Cyver that we have been watching since this new age has come about, who I'm calling Cyver Zero, you're welcome, has not been the one from our original timeline. Cyver Zero is from an alternate timeline, kind of like Trunks, and I won't spoil where he comes from, but he just came from a future that should never have come about, and it was really tragic and really, really bad. And so I don't know if he went back in time trying to fix his stuff or if he just came back in time to just live out his life. But yeah, the one that died is not the original Cyver, and I thought this was a really cool way to use Back from the Dead, because you still keep the other character dead, but then you have this other one. So nice little bow put on that one. But we get to see Cyver and Mareth, and it's really cool to see Mareth. I'm actually most happy about seeing Mareth back because Mareth, I feel, was the turning point where Cyver Zero lost his shit and became pretty much he embraced his Cape Crusader persona, and then nothing else mattered to him. It was only just about the mission, only just about, being the perfect agent and doing things by the letter. It is what broke him and made him, I would say, a better mercenary, but a weaker person. And in here, we actually get to see Cyver Prime with that piece that made him whole again, and we see a completely different person, right? I would say Cyver Zero was the perfect Batman, and then Cyver Prime is now Bruce Wayne. A much older Bruce Wayne, by the way, which I do think is a really cool thing, is that he continued to age. And I would say, based on the way he's described, is he is anywhere between his late 40s all the way up to maybe his early 60s. He put on some weight. He has to use his prosthetics now, or prosthesis, to kind of help him get around. He just isn't in the prime of his physical being anymore, to where, you could tell, like, he's an old man, and he's just trying to work his way through it, still doing the job. And then we see Len in here. I didn't forget about you, Len. And Len is, I would say, a better version of herself as well. We know that she kind of quelled her inner demon, her sister Letta, and she has really never done anything on her own except for in this log. Like, Indon wasn't there, Zofu wasn't there, Nova wasn't there. There was no NPC kind of pushing her along. She's in this by herself with these people who aren't really her friends per se. They're just some people that she met. And it's cool to see Len kind of standing on her own 2 feet. And getting into the log, it starts off with a battle, right? We're in the middle of, actually, we're towards the end of a fight. And we can kind of see the way that it's described that this fight hasn't been a fight. It's more of a spar, and they've been going at it for a little bit. They even say, like, ready for the second step in this waltz, so we know that they've gone around, right? Maybe even more. And it's the fight itself is not the log, right? The fight is just the introduction to the log, and it's perfectly fine to do this when you're not trying to have like a big battle sequence. I would not even say that this is a battle log. It's just, this is your introduction, right? It's pan open, and then these people are fighting, and then they talk, which I found was really cool. We don't really see stuff like that. There's always usually like person's here, person's there, post, meet, talk, then fight, then end. This is just like, hey, they're fighting, then it's over. Here's the meat and potatoes of it. It was a good use of the RP energy system. You know, they're decreasing their energy by significant amounts to just show, you know, either damage or exhaustion, things like that. And they kind of have this just kind of mutual understanding of, we weren't going all out. Cyber kind of knows how strong Len is, and Len respects his I guess understanding of what she can do without seeing it as like a bad thing, right? Because Len even says it here in this log, which I caught that. She even says like it's cool to meet a Saiyan who's not battle hungry, which I guess was kind of a shot at Nova. Maybe it wasn't, but I'm taking it personal. And you know, she meets Marith, she meets Cyber, and they kind of have this talk. And this talk about what they're doing here is where the log gets really interesting, especially for a reader who kind of knows what's been going on. They say that they're bounty hunting, and then who are you hunting? Oh, we're hunting the Black Adders. And in my head, like, ding, it went off. If Len tells them that she's part of the group that they're bounty hunting, this log is going to get very different very quickly. Right? That's just where my mind went with it. And she tells them, and it's weird for me. This got really kind of, I can see where it's setting up future things, and this is where, you know, me and my mind are versus Ike and his characters and where they would go. Because immediately for me, there would have been conflict, and there might have even been a real fight at this point when Len said she joined the Black Adders, and they just said that they are hunting them. Which it doesn't have to be resolved right now, and it could cause more drama in the future, especially with Len. You know, she could just even mention to Urakora, sorry, I can't say his name. I call him Urakorga. I know that's not right. I'm so sorry. I can't say it. The words will never come out of my mouth correctly. But she could go to him and say like, hey, did you know that there's a bounty out for you? And these, you know, there's people hunting you. And he could be like, oh, who are they? And then there's drama of like, well, does she betray Cyber and Marith? Does she betray him and say, I don't know? Or does it even make Len kind of question what he's doing and like, okay, why is there a bounty for this guy? Is he as benevolent as he, you know, kind of seems? Should I even be following him? Or maybe she doesn't give a shit and Len's just down for whatever, you know, and this is her fall from grace, and she's like, okay, so you're I'm in with the bad crew. That's fine. I'll do it. That last bit I think is like a very big deviation from the character, but I do believe that this is something that can lead to future logs and future conflict on the channel, because maybe Len and Cyber and Marith do get very chummy, and the closer that they get, the harder it is to kind of have that casual relationship, because like, you know, the two of them know eventually they are going to have to come after her, and she knows that eventually she's going to have to stop her friend. So it does create kind of like this kind of shadow and foreshadowing of what could come to pass. And I think as a reader, it would be really interesting to see how that plays out. I really hope that this doesn't just die and this is a one-off, and that these characters never come together and meet together again. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see what's going on. And I really like this bit right here that kind of explains why Cyber didn't do what he did, where he says, the Zenny was good, don't get me wrong, but we don't have a plan for them, right? He got a taste of one of their lackeys, and he's like, okay, we can't stop that. If there's more than them, there's nothing we can do. So that's why we let her go. So yeah, that's cool. It was It was a good log. Again, at the beginning, it wasn't enough to really talk about ad nauseum. I guess maybe it was because I did just kind of rant on for about 10 minutes. But it was a good story, and I hope that this is something that we can see in the future. And then the next log that we're going to take a look at, so I'm going to try to get this video down to 2 logs, and then I'll probably do the other ones and another one, but was the Masters of Sun and Moon. And another character of Ike's that is making a return to the page, who we have not seen in a very long time. I think the last time we saw Mosin, he sparred with someone on Namek. It was a new character, and he was trying to get them involved in the stuff on Hydia, and I don't think that character ever made it. But that was like the last time we saw Mosin. Before that, it was the Venom arc when him and Nova had sparred. So here we have Mosin and Elder Jorah on Namek. So Mosin's still on Namek, and he's looking to complete his mastery of Sun and Moon. And one of the things that I've had an issue with, and it's not a real issue, but one of the things that for me with Mosin, why I never got really invested in the character, is because I never understood his motivation. He seemed very just kind of evanescence floating in the wind and could dissipate like mist and then reform. Like, he just kind of was there and went along with things. And I remember Ike a while ago told me that he had this plan to do this with this character. And I asked him why, right? Why is Mosin looking to train? Why is Mosin looking to amass any sort of power? And the answer was very simple, but at least having that answer gave me like a, okay. Because again, I have shitty memories, so I'm sorry if maybe this was told to me 1,000 times over, and I, the reader, I just fucking forgot. I'm old, I forget shit. But to see Mosin with motivations, to see Mosin having a goal that he's trying to achieve now is very refreshing. It makes me interested in the character, and so I was really interested when I got into the log, seeing that this wasn't like the last time we had the Masters of Sun and Moon Part 1, which was more of like a flashback, mostly about how he got started. It's more of like in the present time, and it's more focused on Mosin in the now. And before I really get into it, this bit right here, this whole bit, it kills. It was fantastic. Like, I knew in my heart of hearts, like, the Mosin's not going to the dark side, right? He's not falling here. But you really, like, you get this sense that he's doing something bad. And he's like, it's too late, old friend. It's much too late. I'm sorry, but this is the end for you. And he raises his hand. Mercy, please, mercy, my friend. There will be no mercy this day, Elder Jorah. Your time is at its end. And he puts his chess piece down. I knew something goofy was coming, and I'm really glad that it did. Like, that was one of those, like, you know it's coming, but you have to have it paid off. If Mosin had, like, just murdered this dude in cold blood and was like, I'm now the leader, I'd have been done with this log. I'd have told you to delete this shit. I'd have deleted this shit. Good grief, who was trying to get a hold of me this late? Okay, sorry. So yeah, it was a great little bit in the beginning of the log. And to kind of surmise it, Mosin is talking to his elder, his former master, and he's explaining that, you know, he's learned different ways, and Jorah even says, like, you know, you're not clever enough to beat me this way. Who taught you this strategy? And it's another one of those, like, I hate talking about my own characters and other people's logs, But he's talking about his experience with Nova. And if I'm going to be completely honest, right, I remember that Mosin and Nova fought. I really thought they only did it once. Again, I have a terrible memory, so I know I'm wrong because it's listed here. I don't remember Nova beating Mosin. I don't remember it. I feel like the more I think about it, I probably could go through and find it. But this has been something that is apparently Mosin has carried, right? And it's stuck with him for a very long time, this defeat. And it's like he's used this defeat to reinvigorate himself. So if that's the case, great. I'm happy that it happened. He even says, like, we fought twice, I lost once, I won once, but I didn't defeat her. She was holding back. Not true. Nova never holds back. But just that defeat, even in his heart, right? If he feels like he was truly defeated and that then motivates him to, this is why he wants to get stronger, I feel like that's great. I feel like that is what, as a reader, right? I always come as a reader. I feel like that's exactly what I wanted out of Mosin. I wanted some sort of motivation. Again, he's just been this guy floating along. Venom's here. This is happening. This is happening. I just happen to be here. And I know that, like, at the beginning, it kind of, you were kind of like role playing Mosin, like you wanted to be like a traveling King Kai, right? Like you just happen to appear, and these people need, the sagely advice, and here's this old Kai, this blind old Kai who studied this really ancient. I don't even know if Sun and Moon is supposed to be like some sort of weird parallel to the Seiharden school. It seems like it is. It's mentioned a lot, but just knowing for the 15 years that God Hand has been up here and how that ends, like it's just a weird kind of duality between the two of them. But back to what I was saying, like Mosin was supposed to be this King Kai character of like, I'm going to teach you stuff. Do you want to learn this? I can show you that. And honestly, I don't feel like that kind of character works on page as a PC. Not as a tier 1 PC or even tier 0 PC. I feel like that kind of character is like Master Roshi. He was benched for a reason because he knows so much. Just knowledge and wisdom makes a very dangerous character. But you can't really see growth out of that, right? Like the reason that I love tier 0 and tier 1 is because you're always growing. And with the way that I feel like Mosin was before, again, this is just my personal opinion, he was done growing. He was done growing this way than he was growing that way, right? He was more like expanding his horizons, but he never really wanted to go up because to me, I kind of felt like he always thought he was up here, which is what directly this log addresses. Like again, tier 0 is you are the physical manifestation of an Olympian, right? Like you are the peak of normal humancy. You are at the grand barrier of humanity. But any Dragon Ball enthusiast will know, Master Roshi tells Goku and Krillin, yes, you guys have run a 9-second 100-meter dash. You would win every competition for the fastest human in the world. But now I'm here to teach you how to break your barrier of humanity. And I feel like seeing Mosin like this, I really hope that he feels that way too, right? I really feel like he wants to go beyond what he thought was his own limit, because now he's seeing that there's more to that. And it makes me really excited. Logs like this make me want to interact with this character. Like I want to, that's how it always should be. When you read a log, you're like, oh, that character's cool. I want to interact with that character. Like honestly, I want another round with Nova and Len, right? Because of where Len's at right now. I think that would be a really good thing. I want that. The writer, Nova, does not want that, by the way. So don't expect that coming from her anytime soon. But yeah, this is a good log. Like Mosin is pretty much saying, I'm gonna be the new challenger now, and I want to learn, and I want to go beyond myself. I want to finish my training, and knowing that he didn't finish his training makes it very interesting. Makes the story that could be told around this character interesting. Knowing that there were people, it sounds like there were people that studied either after him or while he was there. They were like the younglings, and then they finished their training. Now they're junior masters, and they're now his sensei, right? So it's a really cool narrative dynamic that you don't really get to see all too often. So I like this log. I feel like it was, again, short and sweet, but there was a lot to unpack here, being that I just talked about it for 10 minutes. So yeah, I can't wait to see more of Mosin, and that is going to be where I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to then do like another one for some of the other logs. So part 2 of this video, we will cover, I kind of want to talk about the Reavers. I think maybe, I mean, it's a log with myself in it, but there was some good stuff in here that we need to talk about. I kind of already went over the last Makono and Gemini. So yeah, maybe we'll touch on the Reavers and House of Cards on the next video. So have a good one, guys, and I will see you in the chat channel.